which brings us into the next segment, which is, wait for it, the left can't meme. Here we go. This is our favorite segment. Hopefully we can make it a regular occurrence. Now, I've got to say a big thank you again to Make Australia Grouse Again. He doesn't actually feature in the memes of this week, not because he didn't make a number of fantastic memes. It's just that I don't want to be putting him in every single week. Otherwise, it'll just become the Make Australia Grouse Again segment. Again, his memes are excellent. You should go check it out. And thank you very, very much for sharing this meme with us.
Best meme artist on the internet. Love it.
Yeah, best meme artist on the internet. Check it out. Make Australia Grouse Again 2 on Facebook. Make Australia Grouse Again on Gab. Go follow. Make sure you're following his account. It's fantastic. He's sent us a few fantastic little leftist memes that we are going to review here. And let's just get into it. So this is obviously, we got Donald Trump looking smug, and we've got our brown kids
and
walking away.
Underneath, it's another essay.
This is exactly what stood out to me when I first saw it. Yeah. First up, it's just a massive essay. You've got a smiling Donald Trump and kids. So maybe they're the image is obviously trying to make it out that he's happy while they're sad.
They're always using the children.
Yeah. But how much effort do you have to go to actually get this meme? You have to sit there and read it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in order to keep 13,000 immigrant children, they don't mention that they are illegal immigrants. Let's just keep that little bit out. The left can't meme. The left must lie. Locked up in detention camps. Trump is proposing massive cuts to government health programs.
Oh, my God, I'm bored already, Matty.
Oh, I know. Massive cuts of $16 million to a government that spends $3 trillion a year. Massive. The government's basically going to bankrupt the healthcare system by taking $16 million out of it. Head Start, $5.7 million from programs to care for uninsured HIV patients. They've really cherry-picked the shit out of it, haven't they?
So what they're trying to say is that keeping your borders strong is homophobic.
I guess what I got out of that is that they've just gone.
That's the dog whistle there.
I guess that, yeah, you can see there would be a dog whistle, but I just think it's funny that they've gone straight to it's like they've spun the wheel of victimhood, HIV patients, and that's like that's come up. It's the wheel of victimhood, yes. and that's the winner in this meme. And then $200 million, which is so much more than $16 million, but not anywhere near $4 trillion, to cancer research, mental health facilities, and government-run women's shelters.
So if you want to
keep innocent children locked up,
well,
they are being used. It's not their fault. We'll give them that. They still can't come into the country illegally. And when we say he's not our president, this is why. Well, he's still your president, boys and girls. Hate to break it to you.
It's like they've taken the whole, if you want to keep your country the way it is, not only are you a racist, you're all these other deplorable things. You hate gay people with HIV.
You hate cancer research as well. Yeah. You hate women.
You want women to be beaten up.
Yeah.
It's using all of the emotional manipulation. And they've got the children up there. Won't please somebody think of the children. And plus that, like it's an essay. It's boring. That's not a meme. That's the common thread through all of these leftist memes. They're not memes.
Source. Yahoo News. You shouldn't have to source a meme. Who sources a meme?
That's correct.
Like, what? Yeah. That's just idiotic.
All you need are 3 words that speak to people.
And we got another one from Occupy Democrats. Keep in mind, Occupy Democrats are the rolled gold top of leftist memeology.
Well, do you know what? About 4 years ago, before I started XYZ, like I would see Occupy Democrat stuff up all the time.
Yeah.
And all my friends would share it. It's one of the things that actually triggered me to start doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So thank you, Occupy Democrats.
They almost used to have the right formula back in the day, the really quick ones, but then all of a sudden they started parodying themselves. So they became a meme of themselves. And now they've really tried to go intellectual.
Yeah.
And they're failing. We need to get some really bad leftist meme done in an effective way. So it's like it's not quite as bad as this. So it's got the right structure, but it's a leftist meme that's still terrible and fails.
Yeah, because like it's again, like I'm looking at all the words here. Like all I see is like I just see like jumbles of stuff right now.
Trump voter logic. Trump is my guy. And he wouldn't. This is actually really sorry. I really love this one because it's so much projection.
I won't interrupt.
Trump is my guy, and he wouldn't be my guy if he was dumb, because I would look up to a dumb guy. And they've got two old white dudes, racists.
They probably fought in the Vietnam War.
They look at them.
Keep your country safe.
Exactly. Yeah. They look like hardworking Americans to me. Old blokes, you're right. Vietnam vets, they could be grandparents, but because they got long hair and beards, somehow they're stupid. I mean, this guy on the right here looks a bit high, so who knows? He's got his glasses. Anyway, so clearly he's smart, and since he's smart, I can trust him, and anything he does must have a good reason for it. Otherwise, the liberals might be right that I made a mistake, and if he's wrong on this thing, he might be wrong on all the stuff that people say he's wrong about. And that would mean I'd be tricked hard, and that would be really embarrassing. So, no, Trump is smart. Where do you start there?
You can't. That's just. I think that's what you call a straw man. And also,
well, Trump, obviously, it's a straw man.
Yeah.
I just think it's really funny that it's the left saying this, and the left, their entire thing is we only believe this because we're on the left.
Yeah.
So they're saying that people only listen to Donald Trump because he's Donald Trump. It's not the content of his policies or the kind of person he is, and the fact that he's standing up to the left and actually doing good things that people like him. They just like him because he's on their team.
Yes.
And also, that's what the left do. The left are the barrackers. Left constantly barrack for their own team no matter what they do.
It's also playing to the leftists' their own bigotry, because they view Trump voters as dumb.
Yeah,
like that's why Hillary Clinton,
they view them as dumb white blokes.
Yeah, it's why Hillary Clinton used the word deplorable.
Yeah,
and thought that she could get away with it.
Yeah,
so like this is actually showing their bigotry for all there is. Trump's IQ is off the charts. Like he might even be a time traveler. It's crazy.
He probably is a time traveler, but this is a great example of how not to meme. It's horrendous. Most leftists can barely read. Give them a little less to think about when they're looking at it. Just stick with the kids and just Trump is dumb. And like just say that over and over, and you'll be totally happy, the leftists. Anyway, do you ever look at stuff and wonder how it got there? And then Theresa May. It's an old one, but I really like this meme because it just captures exactly the situation perfectly.
You've got 4 photos. You've got like about 10 words, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah,
that horse. I don't know what's funnier, the horse or the cat.
I can imagine how the cat got there. It's just hanging. How did the car get to the top of the tree?
Someone was having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just bizarre to me, and like it just makes the point perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah, that car
really makes it perfectly right away.
You reckon I can't make this jump? No, there's no way you can make the jump. So, sure, I can make this jump.
You reckon I can stop Brexit? Yeah, I can stop Brexit. Oh, yes, I can stop Brexit. I can do it. I can do it. You want to see me try? That's what it is. It's just leftist bravado. That's how she got there. Yeah. Anyway, this is one of my memes.
This is a beautiful one.
The most trusted name in fake news.
The fake news network.
It's the fake news network.
Yeah.
And this is actually one of mine. I made this one. I didn't brand it with mine. There's a couple of these that you're going to see are going to be mine. I'm just flogging my own stuff this week.
Again, 7 words.
Yeah.
1 logo. Brilliant. Beautiful.
And it makes sense, doesn't it?
And
it's playing on the CNN's the most trusted name in news.
Yes.
And I'm sure someone might have actually thought of this already, Probably. But I came up with this originally. I did not see it anywhere else.
You didn't write an essay? You didn't feel like you had to like...
So this is an original. This is an original Matty Rose meme right here.
You should brand it.
I should brand. This is now copyright, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
This is copyright. So if anyone in the EU, if CNN, if you're in the EU, you can't use this meme anymore, and you can't use this brand because it's copyright.
And again, it's what I was talking about last week. The whole point of a meme is to sum up a whole thought system in a handful of words and like one or two like photos.
Yeah.
And that's what a meme does. It presents like a million words, bang, like that.
Yeah. And then this one,
yeah,
I made this one because my mind was blown when I found this out. This on the left here, in case you didn't realize, is the EU Parliamentary Building. And this on the right is the Tower of Babel. Mind officially blown. And I made this meme. I was a little bit worried about it because I didn't want to have to explain what the left picture was of the Parliament. I thought I'd put it out there and just let the picture speak for itself, and maybe it would spark someone's curiosity. But what do you think of this meme?
Well, we were talking about it last week. The idea that the left, well, for starters, like you've got the whole idea of bringing all the nations together.
Yeah.
And what they're saying with the design of this building is that they officially want to challenge God.
Yeah.
So they're doing exactly what they were doing with the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm pretty sure it was deliberately modeled on the Tower of Babel.
And you can take it further. You can say, well,
if it wasn't, if it's just an accident, that is definitely a possibility. But I don't think this happens by accident.
No, it's not.
This is on purpose.
Absolutely.
This is them saying we can beat God.
Yes, and you can take it further. Like it's essentially satanic.
Yeah.
And if you really want to get into the book of Revelation, like it talks about, like how the new Rome or whatever is going to be like the vehicle of the Antichrist and all that sort of stuff. It's you can get into all of that sort of stuff and go, hey, look, this is I think they talk about 15 nations or something. I think it's more than that now. But it's like they're trying to go out of their way to be anti-God, to be satanic, to be the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it as well is, I don't know if people realize this if they're listening, but the story of the Tower of Babel, what it means, like one of the main meanings of it is that when you structure society, you need to be as close to the bottom. The top needs to be as close to the bottom as it can possibly be. So what the Tower of Babel indicates and what it's showing is when you try and build a state that's too big and has too many layers, you're trying to you're trying to outdo God. You're trying to regulate society too much. There's too many conflicting interests, and it all breaks apart. And this is what the story of the Tower of Babel is actually saying. It's saying, be wary of those who try to challenge God by creating a man-made institution to challenge the Creator, because it will end in disaster.
Yes.
And the story of the Tower of Babel, if you look at how the EU actually works and the fact that the EU is now crumbling for the exact reasons that the Tower of Babel crumbled in the story. So it mirrors it perfectly.
Yes.
And it's like, wowee. They could not have set themselves up any worse. It's like they challenged God and now they're failing. And it's beautiful on one hand, but at the same time, it's like the hubris of it all, the arrogance, the absolute arrogance to do that.
You can also contrast it to what we're opposing it with, because what we're up against is essentially an ungodly system. And that's what, when we see these two photos, like that's the perfect representation. Like we're up against the globalists, and they are pushing an ungodly system. What we're pushing is like what God created, like what is natural. We're pushing biological reality and basing our society on that biological reality, whether it's the complementary nature of men and women, the fact that men and women are different, and the fact that there are only two sexes, the idea that like society is based on the family and that the nation is just an extended version of the family, and that's how we group. That's how we order the nation through families, and you can see the world as grouped together through these extended families, as nations, like separate nations who work together and occasionally come into conflict. But that's the way that God made the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These sorts of things. I'm always talking a little
allegorically as well. You can interchange, in my mind, you can interchange God with so many things. You can interchange it with nature, natural law, the highest ideal. It's that God means all those things. So when you look at biological reality, an atheist says, well, it's survival of the fittest, therefore it's not God. But someone who understands the concept of God realizes that God just set the rules.
Yeah.
And we're just acting within those rules.
Yes.
And when the EU blatantly tries to break rules that were set up by nature, it's going to always end in disaster. And it's ending in disaster. Shock horror.
Yeah. We just want to return the world to following the system of rules, to following something that works. And it's been proven to work.
Anyway, that was a really good discussion on that meme, but we actually meant to be talking
about amazing about it is it's like art, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we see these essays and we're like, what on earth is going on? There's 3 words here, 2 pictures, and we can talk about it like you're talking about a painting.
And that's what I was that's what I was leading into as well. And this is how you make a meme. And I don't know how many people would get this meme, because not many people would actually know that that's the EU Parliament House. I literally only found out yesterday. And that's why I made this meme, because I only just found out. You should share this meme around. I know it's my own and I'm flogging it, but my brand's not on it. But yeah, flog it around. It's on my Gab page. I'll send it to Dave. We've got to actually start using this meme and get the word out, because this is actually quite big.
Yeah.
It's almost proof of, well, it is proof of one of the stories in the Bible. Essentially proof of that the meaning is based on reality. If you didn't know it, there's plenty of other stories that have similar meanings. It's like, it's not meant to be taken literally. There wasn't someone who actually tried to build a tower to God and had it collapse, although I'm sure there were buildings that collapsed, but that's not the meaning of the story. Anyway, let's go on to the next meme. I think it's a bad one next. Here we go. I know. Look at it. First of all, all the writing right away and a picture of Nancy Pelosi. It's like, I know it's a quote meme, but still.
83% of the tax benefits go to the top 1%. That's because the top 1% pay most of the tax.
Exactly right. If you have 2 people and one person is paying $100 a year in tax and another person's paying $10 a year in tax, and you half both of their tax burdens, one will only pay $5 less, the other will pay $50 less. Yeah. But the only reason they have a bigger benefit is because they were paying so much more in the first place. The fact that we even have to explain this to people, I mean, I don't think my audience is that dumb. My audience are much smarter than that. But other people are that dumb.
I don't think Nancy Pelosi is that dumb. She knows she knows exactly the mess that you're talking about.
Exactly.
They use Marxism for power.
That's exactly what the Democrats do. And they're like, they advertise this as a middle income tax cut, that 86 million middle-class families will pay more in taxes. Not true. Found out to be a liar. Republicans are spending millions of dollars misrepresenting what is in the tax scam. When leftists call you a liar, or when leftists call people liars and say, no, you're a liar, you know that they're lying. Leftists always project. Yeah.
Again, another essay.
It's just crap, isn't it? Horrible. And we'll just finish up with a nice little fun one. 1965. I'll bet in the future we have flying cars and teleportation. 2018. The Chinese printer.
I love Normie meme.
Hey, Normie meme.
That's so fun.
Normies can meme.
Normies can meme. Normies can meme better than the left.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is a very funny meme. I love it. It's like, we wanted flying cars, but instead we got a cheese printer.
Yeah, I want flying cars.
Anyway, that was the Left Can't Meme.